Chris here with the new Bezior XF200. So this is a 20-inch foldable e-bike that does have those fat, chunky wheels on them. So they're 4 inches wide. They're from Yang, knobbly tires. It's got a rear hub motor that's powered off a 48-volt system. And it does give us up to 1,000 watts peak. It has full suspension, so front shock and rear shock, removable battery that is locked into place. It's 15 amp hours, can give us a range of up to 130 kilometers is Bezior's claim, but I will be putting that to the test, of course. And our brakes, they are hydraulic, 160 millimeter. The bike's weight, well, it's 27 kilos, and because it is a foldable bike, the weight does tend to be a little bit heavier with this style of e-bike. The bike's kickstand, this is a typical kickstand that I do see on a lot of these bikes. It does the job, it is adjustable, and we've got those brakes. So these are from Dyson, and they're quite powerful, 160 millimeter disc brakes, hydraulic, and the levers do feel good. Now my biggest complaint with this bike is these pedals here. So foldable pedals, I don't particularly like them. I feel a bit of flex in them when I stand up and start pedaling. I would personally not use these. I would swap these out for some alloy ones that are just a lot stronger. Go for a brand like Walgo. They're quite cheap and they're common, and normally they are very good quality Walgo pedals. So the rear shock, I'm only measuring about 20 millimeters of travel there, so it's not a lot, but it is certainly better than having no shock. It gives a bit of flex to it. So the frame looks good. I do like the style of this paint job. It seems to be a pretty good quality too as well, the finish of it, and I don't see any areas of concern or weaknesses in this frame. The seat post, this has a quick release, and the seat itself is very comfortable. It's got a lot of padding to it, so it is very soft. That combined with the soft spongy seat with our rear shock, and then of course the 4-inch wide fat tires, does make for a very cruisy, comfortable, smooth ride. So the battery, which is removable, located here in the frame, this is 15 amp hours. It takes approximately 7 to 8 hours to fully charge. And the bike, the hinge, really good welds around it. Very strong, but it does, of course, add a bit of weight to the bike having the foldable design here. So if you really need a bike to fold in half for ease of stowing it away, say under a staircase, or you need to put it into a trunk or a boot of a car, that's the only really reason why I would go for a foldable bike. So the front shock here, that is adjustable, the preload, and the travel on it, not great. It's a no brand shock here. The travel, you're looking at about 50 millimeters, 40 to 50 millimeters only. Looks like it could do a little bit more, but no, that's the limit with it. It's not a bad shock, just wish it had a little bit more travel there would be good. So the handlebars, they do also fold down, but you cannot adjust the height of this handlebar at all. So folding mechanisms right there, the latch. And I'll just show you how you do use this. So it has a little security that latches into the handlebar to stop it from just dropping down by itself. So you need to push that in and then push forward. It's a little tough to do it first. And once you do that, then you can drop down the handlebars too, just making it a little bit smaller. So this aids, of course, in storage. So this is what it looks like when you completely fold down the handlebar. Now I'm going to fold the bike in half too as well, so we can take a look at it. Same story, there is a little security here, so you push that forward, you pull on the lever, and then you can proceed to part the bike in half. You can see now in its folded state, it is a lot more compact than when it, of course, is unfolded. So this is, as I mentioned, the key reason probably why you would go for a foldable e-bike. The battery does slot out, and it's a generic battery cell that I have seen before, so 15 amp hours is the capacity of it. It's a 48-volt system, and you do get 2 keys with it. So it cannot be just removed. And yes, you can run the bike with it on and not have the keys within it. The other complaint I have with the bike is, no, they do not use lock grips. So these ones here, which are rubber, you can see I can easily move these up and down. I do find that frustrating. So the Dyson hydraulic brake levers feel good. They are adjustable. There's an adjustment right here for them. And you can also loosen this off too, the part of the handlebars. Not that you actually would really need to be doing that at all. And it does come with a twist style throttle to it and our gear selector, which is your typical Shimano you see pretty much on all of this style of e-bike. The screen is clear, you get all of that information. So we have the 5 pedal assist levels, all off, being backlit too. You can see it at night time, including the buttons. So I have seen a lot of this headlight model. It's got 3 powerful LEDs within it, and to turn it on, you just need to hold the plus pedal assist button down for a few seconds. It turns it on. So it's a bright headlight. It really is great at lighting up the path ahead of me, so fine for nighttime riding. They have at least gone with a brand chain here. So it's KMC, the Z, and they're using Shimano Tourney. We do have 7 speeds with this bike. Onto my riding test now. So what is our XF200 like to ride? Well, it's quite comfortable. It's got the dual suspension and you do feel it. While the shocks don't have a huge amount of travel, as I just showed you before, it certainly is a lot better than nothing. And yes, of course, those 4-inch wide fat tires, they're quite spongy. They help soak up a lot of the bumps, depending on what, of course, tire pressure you are running. I have them relatively soft. I've got about 12 PSI in them, so they still retain a bit of that sponginess without being too soft that it affects the rolling resistance and it becomes a lot harder. And of course, that's going to affect your range too. So speed sensor, it kicks in actually quite quick, this one, but I have noticed that sometimes there can be a bit of a delay when that speed sensor then cuts off. So handling a climb like this, rocky off-road little light bit, not a problem at all for this bike. Riding position is upright, and the shifts from these Shimano gears, typical Shimano here, accurate, smooth, no problems. Even if it is entry-level tourney that it is using, I haven't had any issues. So pedal assist, that is up to level 5, so 5 different levels, and up to 25 kilometers per hour with this model that is currently locked down because the law here is 25 kilometers per hour. I cannot exceed that. So you don't really hear this motor a lot. It's relatively quiet. You can sometimes hear it a little bit when you're just accelerating. So top speed here is 25 kilometers per hour, and trying to go over the 25 kilometers per hour pedaling with 20-inch size wheels is a little bit difficult. I'd say on the flat, top speed is about 28 kilometers per hour. That's with my own pedal power, because once you go over 25, the motor does cut out. So here we are at the climb test point for all of my e-scooter and e-bike reviews. Now this is approximately 20 degrees. I have it in pedal assist level 5, and we've got a 1000-watt motor, 48-volt system. It's handling this with absolute ease. Like, I would estimate that I'm putting in about 20% effort here, and the motor is really doing the rest. So the climb speed at the moment is only 15 kilometers per hour, but that's fine, considering the fact that I don't have to really put any work into this at all. So what I'm going to do now is turn off all of the assist here and just use the throttle, the twist throttle. And with that, I can still go up this. I'm not even pedaling now at all. It's slightly slower, however, at 11 kilometers per hour. And if I was to not use that, just get myself in the lowest gear here, so first gear. Okay, no motor, you really do notice that. This is it's quite tough. Now, I could do this, but I'm certainly going to get a workout and really start to sweat climbing with the motor off, or if I had a completely flat battery. And my routine emergency braking test here from 30 kilometers per hour, the white post. Oh, very good. So that's well before this column here, which most e-bikes cannot do. That puts it in an above average braking performance category. The Dyson brakes that we do get with this model are very good, so hydraulic, plenty of bite to them, really good braking performance. And yes, the fat, knobbly 4-inch wide tires do help with our braking performance. And onto the range then, what can I get out of that 15 amp hour battery located here in the frame? Well, they say up to 130 kilometers is possible. That range I just don't see being possible with my kind of conditions, with my weight of approximately 81 kilos and some of the climbs I've been doing. So normally I make it to the halfway point of the battery and I've covered around 25 to 30 kilometers. And that gives me a range of around 50 to 60 is really, realistically, what you can get out of this battery. So 130 or even over 100, I just don't see being possible. And not with this style of bike, not with the 20-inch sized wheels. If it was 26-inch fat wheels, yeah, maybe that would be actually possible, but more for a 20 amp hour battery. So the braking performance is one of the best things about it. And of course, these chunky fat tires are very good. They soak up a lot of the bumps. I do like them. They have a bit of rolling road noise to them. The rolling resistance is poor. And that rear hub motor, so this is very powerful because it is up to 1,000 watts. And as you saw with my climbing test, I mean, I just rocketed up there and I was putting in basically 20% effort in the climb. That was it. It was the motor that was doing the rest of the work for me, making things quite simple. Now, because it's got the full suspension, the ride is a little bit more comfortable than other bikes I've covered. It's good having a rear shock, although the travel is only about 30 millimeters we get out of the rear and about 50 millimeters from the front, which I wish it was a little more than that, but it's not bad. It's a smooth, it's a comfortable ride, and the bike seat is also large, comfortable, no problems with their upright riding position. So my complaints of this Bezior XF200 model are these lock grips. Well, they spin around on me, okay? They move about everywhere. That should not be happening. They should be using lock grips, especially for a bike over €1,000. By the way, at the time of this video, it's priced at around about €1,200. The other from me is a minor that I said about the shock that I just wish we had a little bit more travel there too. And the pedals, I do not like those foldable pedals. I would not trust them. You're asking for trouble, I think. If you stand up and ride and put a lot of pressure on them, you can feel them flexing a little bit. And I've had this style of pedal, foldable pedals, break on me before. That's why I would not even risk it. If I was going to hang on to this bike, I would get rid of those pedals, put some metal alloy ones on there that you can trust, I think, a little bit more there. So there we go. That is basically the full story here with the Bezior XF200. I think it's a good foldable fat wheel 20-inch style e-bike if you're after this style of bike. And one of the trade-offs being foldable is the weight. So it's slightly more than what you find of bikes that aren't foldable. This one, it's a bit heavy. Yep, 27 kilos. So you certainly wouldn't want to be lifting it up a flight of stairs all the time. So thanks a lot for watching my review of the Bezior XF200.